We want to 100% with the NCAA, been very collaborative in our approach with them in terms of all of their investigation. We will continue to do whatever the NCAA has asked us to do. We've been very accessible in working with the NCAA as we've worked through these allegations. So this is an ongoing investigation, obviously. So while we would love to provide additional context and details, we simply can't do that at this time. It's an ongoing investigation. But I wanted to come here with Scott and acknowledge, you saw the reports earlier, that there is an active investigation with our football program. We will continue to comply as we have done, and unfortunately we're not going to be able to share a whole lot of details while it's an ongoing investigation.
Is it one investigation or is there multiple investigations?
Again, Steve, I'd love to be able to give some context. I know you're going to get frustrated when you ask all these questions. I'm just not at liberty to be able to dive into the details of what we're looking at. I can only confirm that there is an ongoing NCAA investigation in our football program. We have been very transparent with the NCAA, and as have our coaches. We will continue to do so. Unfortunately, we just can't speak about the specifics about the investigation. And we really do look forward to a later date when we can add some context and some additional details to what the investigation entails.
How long has it been going on?
That's, again, some of these details, Sam, that I'd like to be able to share with you. I think it's best at this time that we just stay consistent with what the statement put out and what I'm sharing with you today.
Does it predate your arrival? I assume it does.
It does predate my arrival.
Were you aware? When did you become aware of it? After you started here, or in
I became aware of it after I started. So Scott is here as well, and since he's here, obviously we're going to be very limited in what we can say in terms of what I just shared with you, but if there's any specific football questions that you're interested in asking Coach Frost, certainly he's available to do that as well.
Scott, we know how long it's been going on. How long has it been going on?
Can't comment on these. Sir, Scott, in your position, is there a level of concern about this being a distraction?
No, our players have been laser focused on Illinois. They're still laser focused on Illinois. Nothing's going to change that. Feel great about where the team is right now. We're looking forward to a week from Saturday.
I guess I can ask this, did you guys kind of know this report was coming, or was this a surprise this morning?
Well, obviously, Sam, when there's an ongoing NCAA investigation you're aware of, you're not prepared necessarily for leaks or how it gets communicated. So some of that can be a surprise, as well as some of the nuances to the report can be a surprise to you, if you will. But we were aware, and we were working collaboratively with the NCAA on working through the allegations.
any football questions for Coach?
Again, thank you guys. Appreciate your understanding. I just thought it was important that the two of us come out here and validate what you all have read on the internet and reports that are out there nationally, and we can confirm what those reports are. Okay?
Scott, the parts of those reports that aren't subject to the investigation, the workouts last summer and your role in moving the Oklahoma game, is there anything about either of those that you want to say or can comment on?
Yeah, I've never made one single phone call in regards to our schedule. That's not my job. And everything we did through COVID, I've addressed both those things a lot. Parker, everything we did through COVID was with the best interest and health of our players in mind. And everything we did was approved by athletic department administration and campus administration.
Is there anything else about that Oklahoma thing that you wish had gone differently or had transpired differently?
No, I've talked about that a bunch. I love that rivalry. Once our Ireland game got canceled, our schedule didn't make sense. And I love where we landed with, instead of having a week one bye, a week one game. And there was a lot of discussion about how to adjust our schedule so we didn't play week 0 and then wait till week 2.
We can get into all that stuff a bit later, guys. Just wanted to acknowledge what's happening today. We're going to get ready for Illinois, but I wanted to thank you guys for coming out. We'll get the rest of the coaches here.
Hey, Matt, how have you seen this team's focus just throughout camp and now as you get into Illinois week and not letting outside whatever's out there become a distraction?
Sure, yeah. The question was about our team's focus. I like where we're at right now is from a focus standpoint. It's been a long camp, but a good camp. A lot of improvement. Our guys are excited to play an opponent, and we're getting ready for that opponent and starting to do some scout looks, and our guys are really excited, energetic about that, and instead of just going against ourselves every day. But really fired up about how our guys have prepared all camp. We're a much improved team. We still got some work to do, but we're a much improved football team.
I assume you nailed down your depth chart at this point, or when did that kind of you solidify that as this is what we're going with?
Yeah, it's not set in stone. It's getting a little more clear. So each day the depth chart gets a little more clear of who we're looking for. Who are the most consistent players at every position. So that's getting more clear. It's not, we haven't completely finalized everything. We're still letting it play out a little bit, but we like how that's shaping up. And the good thing is we're going to have a lot more depth than we did last year. So we're going to be able to play more guys at every, especially the skill spots, more guys than we did the previous year.
Did you say who has emerged at the top at wide receiver for you? Has there been some separation with tiers or anything like that?
Well, as a group, I'm happy because the whole group has improved. Last year we had a lot of first-year players, and so the biggest year of improvement is from year 1 to year 2. We had the addition of a transfer with Samari Torres playing like a veteran, so that's really helped us. But the guys that are coming back that played a lot last year have all took their game up a notch. The Oliver Martins, Wyatt Lever, Levi Falks playing at a high level. Xavier Betts has gotten better. Omar Manning's gotten better. So we feel really good about that position.
Kind of to the end of the camp with your running back situation, and we talked to you a couple of weeks ago, you were about 5 guys. Like, where are you sitting at now with how many guys are rotating at that spot? Who's rising to the top?
Sure. Well, we still haven't settled. I tell a couple of guys are jumping out. Savion Morrison is really jumping out. Marquise, he was banged up in the spring. He's shown some good things, some of the things that we look for, in recruiting as far as a big physical back that we can count on. Gabe Irvin gets better every day, and Marvin's done some good things. And so has Ramir. Ramir's had his best camp out of than he says he's been here. So we're happy with the depth. It's still we're still trying to we haven't made a decision on who's going to be the starting back. We will play more than one guy, but we feel like we have, we lost a good player in Driedrich Mills, who's already doing good things at the next level, but we think we'll have more depth than we did last year.
You say that Ramir is having his best camp as a Husker. What goes into that? What are you seeing from him?
Yep, consistency. So catching the ball, pass protection, knowing his assignments in the run game, run hard downhill. So those all those things that we ask a lot from our running backs. They got to be able to not just be one-dimensional. They got to be complete players. And so I think he's worked on all aspects of his game. And he's a guy too with his experience. He knows the offense. So some of these he's probably a little bit older than some of these guys. So like when we add something new, it doesn't really faze him. Where the other guys, when you add something new, they still get a rep through it. And he's been, it's not his first rodeo, so he's been here a while, and it's showing. And he's not getting complacent either. He's pushed himself to get better every day.
Did Savion really start to pop out to you, and what about his game do you like?
Well, he popped out right off the bat, because he was another guy that was hurt in spring, so we didn't really know what he could. At least I didn't know what he could do, and he got his body ready in the summertime. So just the way he looked, and when he gets the ball in his hand, he's been doing a lot of good things. He has great vision. He's a guy we can throw the ball to. He's very assignment sound, and so again, it kind of goes back to that consistency thing. He's done a lot of things well.
All the receivers always mention Wyatt Lever when talking about guys who do it right every play. As a coach, what about him stands out?
Sure. I think number one is the type of person he is. He's very humble, very hungry. He's very quiet, and he lets his work and his play speak for himself. He goes out there every day, never complains, goes 100 miles an hour, takes as many reps as he can. Everything's full speed, and just competes. And he's making a ton of plays. And I think because he's so humble, because he's such a likable guy, our guys just gravitate toward him. And then the fact that he's making a lot of plays on top of that, it makes the whole football team better.
You're breaking down the running backs too. How important at this point is it to have that one guy, or is it, I mean, as you've gone through camp, is it, I guess, more comfortable, this idea of more of a committee and rotating guys?
Well, you always want to have depth, and running back is probably the most prone position on offense to getting guys banged up because of what we ask those guys to do and how physical that position is. But at the end of the day, you want to know who that guy is when it's 3rd and 1 to win the football game. Who are you giving the ball? And so that we feel pretty good about it, but we're not ready to say who that guy is. But so to answer your question, you want depth, but at the end of the day, you want to know, hey, this is the drive to win the game. Who is that guy? And that's getting clearer and clearer, and you guys will see that play out.
Xavier Betts was pretty candid with us about how in the spring he maybe didn't get as much mileage out of himself as he wanted, but you mentioned him earlier. Did you see him kind of turn the corner from that, and how has he done?
Yeah, I got a lot of respect for Zay because it's hard. It shows a lot of maturity to admit that you got room to grow, and that you can get a lot better, and admit your faults. And in his defense, anytime you go from high school to college and you get thrown in to play, it's not easy. You got to learn how to practice hard. You got to learn how important all your plays are. And he comes from a great program, but it was still a learning process for him. And I think, he'd be the first to tell you that he could have embraced it probably a little bit more, because we were expecting a lot about him. But the big thing that he's done is he comes out and competes every day. You can make an argument some of the days that you look out there and like that guy might be our number 1 receiver. Each day they kind of take their turns on who's the number 1 guy. But he's continuing to make plays. He's playing at a high level, and just his effort and learning how to play fast. The thing with freshmen, which he was last year, is they think a lot, which caused a little bit of the slow play because they're thinking they've got so many things in their head, so that you can't really see their talent. Well, now we can actually see his talent because he knows his assignments, and we can actually see this is the guy. Hey, this is the guy we thought he was, a guy that can make a lot of plays, run fast, and just make our whole football team better.
This might seem like kind of an odd question, but how do analysts help you on offense, kind of behind the scenes with what they do to help the program?
Sure. They do a great job they do a whole bunch of things, and there's a whole bunch of different roles for analysts, but scouting opponents, keeping you organized, and ideas. When we're going through, especially in the off season, we're going through and looking different things. It's always great to have extra. You can't have enough wisdom in the room, and so we're lucky here where we've got some experienced analysts that bring a lot of credibility, a lot of knowledge, a lot of expertise, which we need all the help we can get, like everyone else does, and they've made us better. And we'll give them projects to research and study, which will make our team better. But I love all we're very fortunate to have great analysts here.
How would you serve in certain positions? Do you think once the depth chart gets solidified in every spot, week 1 or whatever it is that you decide on that, the guys can focus more on their individual assignments heading into whatever particular game that's set for them?
I missed the second part.
So once a guy knows his role, like
yes, yeah,
whatever spot I am on the depth chart, right?
Gotcha.
Is it easy for them to focus on their assignments for any scheme or play individually?
Yeah. So what we've kind of done is we've introduced the whole offense to everybody, okay, which is a lot of stuff. So I don't know if this answers your question, but sometimes that's hard for guys because they're thinking about so many different things, and we can't expect perfection. Now when we start getting more game plan a week, we take basically 30% of that, or maybe 40% of everything we've installed, and we're going to use this, which helps guys regain focus and helps guys really zero in on their assignments and responsibilities. So I think it's going to really help everybody. And I guess, and like to your point, I guess the guys that are in the 1s and the 2 deep, it's obviously very important to them to really understand, hey, okay, now this is the game plan. All right, I don't have to know all this right now. I just have to know this and really dial in and detail that.
Some tight ends kind of banged up here throughout the camp as it happens. Like, how have guys like Chris Hickman and A.J. Rollins, James Carney, those kind of guys, how have they kind of taken to getting expanded roles and snaps in practice?
Yeah, I mean, they've done a great job. We talk about all the time. It's kind of that next man up. But philosophy is when one guy goes down, it's an opportunity for somebody else. And Chris Hickman's a great example because we played him at wide out a little bit last year. We moved him back and forth because of his skill set, and he's gone back to the tight end position doing some really good things. Really good things. And we're starting to get back healthy at that position, too, and we'll be healthy for the first game. But it's been good, and it allows you to develop depth when those other guys are out. Austin Allen's played a lot of football, so if he misses a practice, it's not the end of the world. You know, he knows his assignments, and it really does give the other guys a chance to come in and develop, because the best way to develop is getting reps. And so there's always a silver lining sometimes to injuries. Another guy gets in and gets to develop, and we're getting those other guys back, so that's a positive.
Matt, Omar Manning,
Yes, sir.
How do you describe what you've been able to do for you guys offensively here in fall camp, and do you anticipate being able to throw a full load at him for the first game?
We do. Yeah, we do. You know, kind of back to that question we had, we're going to pare things down for everybody, so we feel like, yeah, he'll be responsible for the whole game plan, like all our skilled guys. You know, he's done a good job. He was the guy last year because of injuries and in and out of the lineup, and never really got the chance to practice on a consistent basis and understand the system and feel comfortable about there. But to his credit, he did a great job in the summer. And he's been a lot more consistent because he's been able to get out there and do reps. So we're excited to see what he can do. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think the neat thing about, Omar and everybody else, I think our quarterbacks and receivers have developed a lot of chemistry where we have multiple guys that can get open and that they feel good that they can trust and throw it down the field to, or are going to get open in intermediate routes as well. Yeah. Let's go kind of one day at a time. That's a good question. We go one day. We have in the summertime, you know, we scout out our first couple opponents, and it's obviously a huge football game, the first game, and we both know that, and so that's been a focus. And you know, now it's kind of paring down the stuff that we've installed that we think is going to fit for this particular game plan against Illinois. We've already started doing that. It's going to get more and more, just kind of day by day, where it's going to be more play specific to Illinois as opposed to the whole playbook.
Coach, when you've had a line that it's been over more than a full season since they had to deal with crowd noise, you start on the road, are you worried a little bit all cadence or silent snack outs, or how much have you addressed that?
Yeah, that's a good question. We didn't have fans last year, but that's something we work on really every day is how does crowd noise affect cadence. We have different ways we can go cadence. You know, we can go silent, we can go on a count. We like to blare music. Sometimes I think the music we blare in practice is louder than the fans, especially when it's bad music. So I think that prepares our guys a little bit too. You know, I think, but we change up the cadence all the time to keep our guys just into it, because you just never know what the environment's going to be like. And the fact that we always have noise in practice, you know, it's still different in a game. I get it when you're going into a stadium of 100,000, but we talk about that every day as a staff of how we can have our guys prepared, because if you're not prepared, it could be a huge advantage for the opponent. Hey, thank you guys.
Thank you, Matt. That's good. Brent, how's camp going overall for you?
Camp's going good. You know, we're just going out there every day trying to stack days, and it's a big thing we're preaching this camp is stacking days. So just going out there getting better and better every day.
Brent mentioned that Cam has sort of come out of the shell a little bit, become more of a type person over the past year or so. How have you seen him kind of embrace that leadership role?
Yeah, beef jerky. Yeah, no, he's definitely come out of his shell. He's been balling. He's been balling for us. He's having a great camp. I mean, phenomenal athlete. So he's a really big leader on our team right now, and it's really what we need. So he's really stepped up to the plate this summer.
Casey Rogers said that too about Cam Jurgens, that he's been balling this year and having a really good camp. What have you seen as a fellow offensive lineman from him that says that he's taking his game to another level?
You know, just being vocal. Like, he's always been vocal, but you know, now more than ever, when we had a lot of guys graduate, and he was next up, and he stepped in the role perfect, and he's been vocal with everyone, trying to bring people with him along, and he's just been, his play speaks for itself, but just beyond that, his leadership and being vocal with everyone was just, it's incredible.
How many different positions have you played this training camp?
This camp, just this fall camp, I've just been working tackle. I mean, at Nebraska, probably about 5, but I'll play wherever I need to just to help us win. It's all about.
Did lock you in a little bit at tackle. I know Turner's been in and out, but how do you feel about? Does that feel like that your natural role, your natural position?
That's what I played when I first came to offense, and I got pretty comfortable there, and then some stuff happened, and I moved around a little bit, and then back at tackle. I think I'm just stepping into the role, whichever role they need me to right now, and just honestly, I just do whatever we can just to help us win the games.
You playing more right or left?
I've been playing left this fall.
Yeah, with Turner out, have you basically manned number 1 left tackle most of the fall?
Yeah, we've been getting a lot of reps there, just both of us. So I mean, we've just been splitting them.
How do you approach, moving around, changing sides of the ball? How do you approach learning a new spot?
Yeah, so switching around on the offensive line is not nearly as hard as going from defensive line to offensive line, as you can imagine. But it's not too bad. It's just you really got to get down the plays, and you really know them. At one position, you know every position. That's what makes you good. But it's just learning to do footwork and stuff, and being shorter footwork. It's all that type of stuff. So it's really mentality. Just you got to embrace whatever role you're in.
What's the difference in footwork, real quick, between guard and tackle?
Tackles, I'm going against Caleb Tanner type people, and guard, I'm going against snacks like Damian Daniels. So it's just I got to take a lot shorter footwork going against Damian Daniels, a big dude, and Caleb Tanner's quick. So off the edge, you got to be a little faster.
What was the biggest adjustment for you going from defense to offense?
Like everything. That was a whirlwind. I was like the mentality too. Like I'm thinking, get past the offensive line, get the ball, make a sack. That's what you want to do, and then I go to offense, and you can't let that happen. So it's just, I played both in high school, so it wasn't insanely hard, but just you got to switch mentalities,
How big of a difference is it between Damian Daniels and Jordan Riley?
They're both really good players. Jordan Riley's had a phenomenal camp too. He's been balling out. So Damian Daniels has a little bit more experience under his belt right now, though. I think some of the stuff he knows just from playing in games and stuff, it gives him a little more experience coming out. But they're both great players. They're both strong as hell. So you just gotta lock in.
Who among those edge rusher guys has stood out to you in camp so far?
Garrett Nelson. I came in with him. He was my roommate freshman year when I early enrolled. So he's been balling out. Caleb Tanner, just all the guys pretty much. They've all been having a good camp, and they're really improving a lot. Been working on a lot of different things, and I think it's good for them because it's really going to help us out in the game.
Coach just mentioned that you guys routinely practice with music and stuff like that, but it's been a long time since you in a game time environment had to deal with a full crowd. As a unit, have you guys talked about that shifted intensity coming to 2-1?
Yeah, no, I think that's pretty much left unsaid because we all know what it's like to be out there with 90,000 people, and it's different playing. Like last year, we had cardboard cutouts. We had 70 dogs in the stands, the cardboard cutouts. So it's just different. But I think we all pretty much are ready to handle it doesn't really matter about the crowd. We love the people coming out and giving us amping us up and everything. But at the end of the day, when you're in a play, you're not thinking about that. You're thinking about the guy in front of you and doing your job.
Are you actually wearing your shoes right now?
Yeah, I am. They're Olakai's. It's a Hawaiian lifestyle brand. It's supposed to do that. I'm not sponsored by them, though. I wish it was.
How's that? How excited are you about that NIL deal that you got on your shirt there?
Oh, Muchachos? Yeah, no, well, the man that runs the place is awesome. Huge Husker fan, and gave us the opportunity to come out and do the pipeline burrito. And if you get a chance, you got to go try it. It's insane. It's a 15-inch burrito. It's huge, but it's also really good. We went and had it last Sunday, and we had a little race to see who could eat it the fastest, but
Who won?
Cam puts things down.
What's in the burrito?
It's every meat they have, chips, queso, rice, pretty much everything, everything you can imagine. He's thinking about putting Takis in it, just for the hell of it. But it's great. It's really
Do
good.
you add hot sauce to that, or?
I did. I'm from Texas. I love spicy stuff, so I was putting hot sauce all over it. But some guys don't.
That'll
But
slow you down, though, right?
no. You gotta love the burn.
Good as sinuses.
Yeah, helps you out. Yep.
Anything else for Brad? All right, thank you.
Hey, you guys.
Thank you.
Hey, Oliver, you've been mentioned a lot as someone who's gotten a lot of snaps with that number one group. I guess how has camp gone for you so far?
It's gone well. I feel like the practices have been pretty competitive, and there's the saying, iron sharpens iron. I feel like the ones going against the ones, and even the ones going against the twos, has helped both offensive and defensive units get better.
How has that increased competition at wide receiver this year also continue to help you guys stay sharp throughout the season?
Going against the one and two defense in like competitive situations, game situations, definitely helps. Like receivers understand how they need to run routes against certain coverages and things like that, and that just helps raise our level of play.
How does your experience here, whether it's in practice, the way things are run, whatever, compare to the other two big stops you've been at?
Between the three schools, I would say the practices are pretty comparable. The only real difference I've noticed is Michigan might have been a little bit longer practices, but like the structure to it is very similar. They're all competitive. It's all the same kind of drills. And then maybe like the schemes are a little bit different, or some plays are a little bit different, but a lot of it's the same.
I know you talked a little bit about this in the spring, but can you put your finger on just how different it is for you right now compared to where you were at when the season started last year, given everything that happened in the offseason and that you had just got here?
Yeah, I'm way more comfortable right now at this point practicing than I was right when I became eligible last year. You know, the offense was a lot newer to me then. The signals, everything was just a lot newer, so it wasn't as quickly processed in my brain when I would see it. And now that I've been around it for a year, it's like second nature. I'll see a signal and it processes quickly. I know I need to line up. I know how I need to attack whatever coverage I'm getting from the defense. Yeah, just more comfortable overall.
How's Aiken's deep ball looking?
It looks great. He's doing really well. Even since last fall, I feel like he's playing at a much higher level. He's the guy. I mean, he's doing really well.
What you say he's playing at a much higher level? Where have you seen him progress over that time?
His just like accuracy through deep balls, short game, arm strength. I think it's really good. Like I'll be running routes and he'll put the ball right on me, like in a good spot compared to where the DB is, like breaking on the ball and stuff like that. Like I've been pretty impressed.
What do you see from those three young guys? I know they just got here in the summer. They're sort of, you know, I'm sure it's a lot of information for them, but have any of them stood out, or what do you make of them, I guess, so far through a few weeks?
Like just off the bat, they're athletically gifted. Like Camonte, Latrell, and Sean. Like with Latrell, he's really technical, like a crafty guy. He's a big guy. And then Camonte and Sean are like, they jump off with like their speed and twitchiness, like they're good athletes. So.
What's the you did a little bit, you returned a couple of punts last year, late in the year, right? What's the knack do you sort of need to have to be a good punt returner? And do you think you can sort of add an element to that game this year?
Yeah, I think you need to be comfortable back there. If you're nervous about just catching the ball like that, I think that decreases the chance of you catching it in the game. So you just need to be comfortable and then getting a good jump off of where the trajectory of the ball. Like those are the two big things. And I feel like I'm good at both of those. I feel comfortable catching punts. I feel like I could go into a game and execute as punt returner. I feel like I get good jumps on the ball too.
Have you been one of the main guys working at that spot this camp?
Punt returner? Yeah, I've been one of the main guys.
Oliver, I mean, I know you just look at week one, but is it hard for you to see that schedule and see Michigan and Iowa on the schedule in Lincoln this year and not be excited?
Oh yeah, I'm super excited to, you know, play some of my friends that I've made from some of those schools. There'll be competitive games, and playing against guys I know just makes it more fun and exciting for me. So I'm definitely looking forward to those two games.
Jersey swap guy?
I don't think I'm allowed to. I have to turn it in after the game. Otherwise, I don't know. Maybe I'd try it.
Hey, you used to be a swimmer. Did you watch a bunch of the Olympics this summer?
Yeah, I watched a good amount of it.
Do you miss it? Like, do you miss having done that? Do you ever, you know, like at some point you might have been on that trajectory, but how much did you enjoy watching that? How much do you miss it?
I really enjoy watching swimming. Like growing up, that was like arguably my main sport up until high school, and I had a very genuine passion for it. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to watch the Olympics. I know all the top swimmers and all those events from when I was little, so you know I always liked watching the Olympics or big swim meets.
Did you think about, you know, pursuing it really competitively, or when did football just push out that?
Yeah, I mean, when I was younger, that it was always a dream to compete at a high level in swimming and grow up and, you know, swim at those big swim meets. But I'd say in high school is really where it kind of flopped, because I couldn't swim year round anymore. And to be competitive as a swimmer, you gotta swim year round. Like taking the fall off for football would set me back, and then like the spring and summer off for baseball would set me back. But yeah, for a while there, I was, that's what I wanted to do a little bit.
It's kind of a lonely sport, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But I like that you get out what you put in. Like that aspect of it, I like a lot.
Anything else for Oliver?
Thanks.